Minister of Economic Affairs promises a full account of the Expo 2020 trip, the Grand Bahama Power Company to increase electricity bills, and Minister of Health and Wellness says Omicron is straining the country's health system. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tyler Simonet with your JCN News for this Tuesday, January 18th. The government will give a full account on what has turned into a controversial trip of Bahamian delegates to Dubai. You see, Prime Minister Philip Davis and a delegation of more than 100 individuals flew to the Arab nation to represent the Bahamas at Expo 2020, and this has had tongues wagging all weekend. In a statement issued this past Friday, the Office of the Prime Minister indicated that Cabinet approved up to $1 million to support the pavilion and presence of the Bahamas at the Expo. Economic Affairs Minister Senator Michael Halkitis, just before the weekly cabinet meeting, responded to questions regarding what that $1 million includes.
At the conclusion of the mission, when everybody is back and all the expenses are settled, then we'll know the true cost. That would be, I think there was a commitment to make that available, and so that will be done. But I also just want to make this final point in that, we're a small, open economy. We don't export much. We depend on foreign investment for the growth of our economy. And so missions such like this, to the extent that they can attract foreign investment, they can begin to make connections that will lead to investment. And even with the performers, being exposed to not only Dubai, but 190 countries that are participating, if opportunities become available, for example, for them to perform elsewhere, we think it's a plus.
Asked if it's likely that the government may have gone over budget, the Economic Affairs Minister says this.
This is a multi-year project. It's been going on for about 6 years, so monies have been spent over the years. Late last year, we allocated an amount of money to assist to make sure that we were able to put on a good show and acquit ourselves well. So I wouldn't technically say it went over budget, but at the end of the day, we will do an accounting, and we will see when everybody's back and all the expenses are settled. I don't anticipate we would have gone over budget, no.
He says that information should take a few weeks to finalize after the delegation returns home. Aside from the $1 million allocated by Cabinet, the United Arab Emirates government spent $3.5 million to support the presence of the Bahamian Pavilion. Private donors have also contributed $500,000, according to the Office of the Prime Minister. Minister of State for Grand Bahama Ginger Moxie tells reporters before Cabinet on Tuesday that ministers will discuss the decision of the Grand Bahama Power Company to increase electricity bills. Since the filing of the recent rate adjustment in September of last year, a cabinet committee was formed comprised of Social Services Minister Obi Wilchcombe, Works Minister Alfred Sears, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville, and Minister Moxie.
We did meet with the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the Grand Bahama Power Company to express our strong stance against any type of rate increase. We note in the press statement and in a letter that was sent yesterday that there was an increase, approved increase but it was reduced from the 6.3% to the 3.3%, and we believe that this is based on our strong position.
She says that she is satisfied with the decrease in light of the proposed increase. Minister Moxie adds that it's important for compassionate leadership at this time.
People continue to be hurting throughout the country, but on Grand Bahama Island in particular, because of what we've gone through as a result of Hurricane Dorian and the pandemic and hurricanes before that. And so we continue to fight for the people and continue to express our strong stance against any type of increases.
In a press statement issued on Tuesday afternoon, the committee reiterated its position that any increase is difficult for the many residents and businesses still struggling to survive. It adds that it remains resolute in its commitment to the growth and development of Grand Bahama Island and the people of Grand Bahama. The Omicron variant of COVID-19 is putting a serious strain on the country's healthcare system. These are the words of Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville just before Cabinet on Tuesday. His comments come as cases continue to be reported in the triple digits every day in the midst of a fourth wave of the pandemic.
putting a serious strain on our healthcare systems, not only the hospitals, even at our clinics. This is a challenge, and this is a challenge every country is facing, to keep healthcare services up and going, while at the same time providing essential services for those who have other medical conditions. We're working the best we can.
Now, last month, Prime Minister Philip Davis said the government was ready to mobilize several field hospitals should the number of people needing to be admitted grow. Here's Dr. Darville with an update on that.
Well, we approached many countries to assist us with field hospitals. Yes, there's traction. Unfortunately for us in the Bahamas and this administration, we are a new administration, and these requests were made 2 weeks after becoming government. The Omicron variant came very rapidly, and a lot of the preliminary work and search for these field hospitals is still ongoing, and I've gotten some good replies. But for us, we must be able to function now, and when those facilities come on stream, we would actually add them to what we have.
At last report, there's at least 7,265 active cases of COVID-19 in country. Motorists beware, there is currently a trend of armed robberies happening here in the capital. Acting Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander giving this warning to the public during a virtual Zoom meeting.
What we have known in the past 2 weeks, and we want to alert members of the public, we know there's a trend with respect to armed robberies where a number of residents are being held up and robbed of their vehicle, and it's spread throughout New Providence, where they are pulled in a home and approached by 2 to 3 individuals and robbed of their vehicle. We note that most of the vehicle taken are Japanese vehicles.
Commissioner Fernander urges residents to be aware of their surroundings, and if you find yourself coming home late at night, to not sit idly in your vehicle searching for personal items before going into your home.
Ensure that your home safe. Ensure that the lighting, you have proper lighting. If you have surveillance cameras, you have cameras, make sure that they are working.
Commissioner Fernander made these comments during a virtual press briefing on the update on successes of recent homicides and major crimes in New Providence. The alleged culprits of a triple homicide that took place on Prison Lane in October of last year appeared in the magistrate's court on Monday. 27-year-old Shaquille Bodie and 18-year-old Eltario Monroe stood before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt on Monday, charged with 3 counts of murder. The particulars are that on Friday, October 29, 2021, Bodie and Monroe, while being concerned together by means of unlawful harm, did intentionally cause the death of Kenneth Ulin, Gromiko Simonet, and Justin Cash. According to police reports, the 3 victims were on a porch on Prison Lane when 2 suspects armed with firearms discharged their weapons, fatally wounding 2 while 1 was wounded in his lower extremities. The 3rd victim was rushed to hospital where he later died. The duo wasn't required to enter a plea and were remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until April 18th at 10 a.m. for service of a voluntary bill of indictment. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.